Good afternoon, everyone. I am here and they are working on my car again. He is working on my car again, and he is pulling his battery out of his vehicle, and he's going to pull my battery out, start my vehicle, and then place my battery back in.
So how long ago did you get the battery? This seems to be new, right? Just recently?
That's a brand new battery. I just put it in maybe 2 weeks ago.
Okay. And this started, you replaced the battery after this started?
Huh?
You replaced the battery after the
Yeah, it was dead.
started?
That's what prompted the new battery, is that we went and looked at the receipts on the battery and realized that it was a 5-year-old battery, I think.
Yeah.
And so it was past its date. So we said, okay, it's the battery. So we got a new battery. Okay. And a family member of mine came over. We got a battery. Put it in. The next day it was dead. We took it back and had them test the battery, and they said the battery's good. So that's what prompted this. Okay, we got to figure out what it is. Okay, so what he did is he took his battery, put it back in his vehicle, and he started up his vehicle to make sure that everything is okay with his vehicle. And now comes the troubleshooting.
First, I'm gonna go ahead and check all the ground locations on the motor itself and on the harness, and go ahead and clean any ground that I can see as any buildup, any corrosion, rust, something like that. Just a lot of corrosion can cause a pressure situated. If the computer is not timing out and requesting time anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes, something could be staying on, or the computer itself could have a bad circuit and be causing something eventually to stay on. So we'll go ahead and check everything real quick, and just go down the line of letting the battery charge a little bit more. That way we'll have enough cranking amps to fire it up, and we won't have any problems with that.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and check the computer for any codes listed right now. But with the battery being taken out and with it going dead, usually it resets. So, of course, just checking to see if anything is left on, dome lights or any lights on the accessory panel or the gauge cluster. The harness, any accessible grounds, you know, see right here, battery ground or anything. I like to get them cleaned off just to make sure we're getting a good connection. 'Cause like I said, any kind of corrosion or buildup over time can give you electrical issues. You didn't notice anything beforehand, before you had any problems with the battery? It usually sits for a good while, doesn't it? When you drive it.
It sits for a day or two. Okay.
So
Should I be like driving it every day, like I used to when I was going to work? And
if not driving it every day, at least start it up for a few minutes and let it warm up and kind of go through the process of that, because that does that can help it out as well with the electric systems.
okay.
Just being dormant for so long can cause issues.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because I didn't have any issues with it being dormant for 2 or 3 days before.
Okay.
And so,
That's why more or less when it comes down to that, and I mean, stuff that I've seen, especially with this model, I mean, I've seen a lot of people having a lot of trouble with the radios and with it, staying on, just after everything's turning off and having that load CE or, having that sitting on there, kind of led me to that, but when it's still acting up, kind of seems like it may be a little bit further down into the computer. Or, like I said, something else being...
or the people that have had the same issue are still driving the car every day.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
See, and that's why I was kind of going towards the battery itself, but we let it run for so long and let it charge up. The alternator, the output on the alternator is right around 13.4 to 13.5 volts, which is right around where it should be, so the alternator is no problems there that I can see.
I'm glad you clarified that, because that was one of the things that viewers were saying, is that, it's your alternator.
Yeah.
No, I've had 2 people check it. And one of my viewers suggested it's because you're not going places and doing things every day.
Yeah, that too. I mean, the state charged up for so long, but once these batteries go dead, I've seen, I mean, not so much, Aerostar battery. This is Walmart.
Yes.
Yes. Well, it's not warranty. It's what's it, 590 cold cranking amps, 745 cranking amps. I look at batteries. It's just whenever they so I don't like this and let it fully die down all the way. They can have issues sometimes, but the fact that you had it tested, after it had given you issues was good too. So. You can see all the insulation for the wiring is just getting to a point where it's solid and it's just sort of crumbling away.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So I just like to go through and make sure there's no bare wires or any wires touching the body, rubbing through or anything like that.
I drive it or let it run every day?
If you're gonna let it run, just to let it warm up, I would at least like 15 to 20 minutes, just on
Okay.
15 20 minutes, come outside, cut it off. But driving wise, I mean, you can drive it. It could be a trip to the corner store, or a trip to the store to do what you need. It's just within like 5 miles. It wouldn't be too bad. Just kind of get
Okay.
it through the process. And,
All right, I might just go and take a drive every day.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, helpful.
Okay. Just turn the air conditioners on to make sure they're working.
Go ahead and clean there's a above ground located in the trunk, right by the trunk lid, that usually water coming in from the seal when they actually go up to the seal can get fast and get on noise in the rear. So I'll go ahead and clean that real quick.
So what he's doing here is he's checking the tail lights and the brake lights and all of the lights on the rear end to make sure that they are not lighting up and are working properly and not draining the battery.
There is some water in the trunk. There's a harness that goes down into the actual trunk there as well.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and pull everything out.
All right. You found water in the trunk.
Yeah. So I guess we're building up.
Really? Wow. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. That's good to know. Can you tell me where it may be coming from? Do you know where it might be coming from?
So I believe it's USB sealed. Like USB is sealed on the actual truck.
Okay.
Right here. It is replaceable. It's going to be an even spot, but you could come. I can show you where it's actually split. So I can see where it goes up around the light right here.
So there's a split in it. Okay, that's good to know. So if I get a new seal and have it put in, then it'll be all right. All right.
Harness for the vapor canister. Let me see. Best way to explain it. The vapor canister, it has fuel vapors go through it, and periodically the purge valve, the computer controls the purge valve to let the fuel vapors into the engine, control, what do you say, gas mileage and stuff like that, especially on the highway. So the harness for the vapor canister goes through the trunk lid where that plug that I was telling you about to go ahead and drain the water. And the ground wire going through that harness was so brittle that it just break apart. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and repair that ground wire.
Okay.
And we're gonna go ahead and put everything back together. And what I'll do is we can go ahead and I'll have you drive it a little bit once I'm finished, just around town or something small. And later tonight I'll go ahead and a couple of hours, let's say let's finish it. What time is it right now? About 5:30?
Somewhere around there.
Around 8 o'clock or 8:30 if it's not too late, I'll come by, go ahead and just double check everything, check the condition of the battery, see how many volts it's holding, to see if that's going to be the issue.
All right.
But everything else looks okay. Listen.
All right, he started the car back up. Check the air conditioner again. He fixed the ground wire that he discovered was no longer existing, that needed to be there.
For the evap canister in the rear,
Mm-hmm.
it was barely holding on by a thread. It was starting to pull apart, so went ahead and got that taken care of. Just gonna do a once over on the rest of the harness in the rear real quick and go ahead and see it, fire it up, let it run for a little bit, and have you take it for a drive. And then we will check again this afternoon, and we'll see how the battery does.
All right.
All right.
That again. Go ahead.
Okay, so upon reinstalling a new battery or replacing the battery, the computer has to go through a process as you drive it. It's basically go through an inspection. It will go through and basically check off monitors like the catalytic converter, the O2 sensors, the evap system. Just basically do a checklist in the computer to make sure everything's good to go. If there is any problems, it will flag a check engine light. It will record it on the dash. But as it is right now, with replacing a new battery, we'll have to drive it about 50 to 70 miles just to complete all those miles. That being said.
Okay. All right, he is back, and he's doing a check on everything. These are the kind of people that I have in my neighborhood. He's coming back.
So no slow cranking or anything like that. That's pretty good. Just for that. So far so good.
That window has not worked for months.
Yeah. So it looks like it's just the switch. This switch on the driver's side, it's not. Looks like it's not the connection, or the actual switch has gone out for this window. But the switch on that side will allow it to go up and down. Yeah, that's why I usually check. Usually I check the individual switches because sometimes the master switch.
So you use the switch on this side. You reach over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I reached
good to
over
know.
just to make sure. Because I just wanted to see if that could affect it.